Welcome to today's explainer. We're jumping right into a truly epic moment from an ancient text today, and it is a story that absolutely nails the dramatic clash between mortal desires and massive cosmic consequences. We are looking at a pivotal encounter that really tests the boundaries of power, responsibility, and the very nature of destruction itself. So I want you to think about this massive question for a second. What actually happens when a mortal asks a god for a universe-destroying weapon? Just sit with the sheer, unimaginable scale of that. We aren't talking about upgrading to a better sword or sharp arrow. We are talking about an ancient weapon of absolute mass destruction. How does a literal deity respond to a human asking for the power to end everything? Well, let's find out. Part 1. A divine encounter. Arjuna and Mahadeva. Right off the bat, Mahadeva completely elevates the stakes. Arjuna walks into this knowing himself as a mortal warrior, the son of Pritha and Pandu, facing this brutal earthly war. But Mahadeva reveals Arjuna's true, ancient lineage. He tells him, actually, you were formerly Nara, the friend of Narayana. He reminds Arjuna that he spent thousands of years as a fierce ascetic in Bidari. And even wilder, Mahadeva reminds him that he and Vishnu literally hold the universe together by their might. This isn't just a casual chat between a god and a man, it's a massive reunion of cosmic forces. Now, before offering the ultimate choice, Mahadeva hands out some absolutely incredible initial boons. First, he returns the legendary Gandiva bow to Arjuna. Fun fact, Mahadeva had actually snatched this bow from him earlier using illusion, but now he gives it back, complete with its famous twang that sounds like the deep roar of clouds. Alongside the bow, Arjuna gets 2 inexhaustible quivers, a body entirely free from pain and disease, and unbaffled prowess. Honestly, any mortal warrior would take that deal and go home thrilled. But Mahadeva goes further. He tells Arjuna he's pleased with him and tells him to name the one boon he truly desires. Which brings us to section 2, the ultimate request, Arjuna's wish. You'd think he'd ask for peace, right? Nope. Arjuna asks for the fierce celestial weapon wielded by Mahadeva himself. It's called the Brahmasira, or the Pasupata. And the text doesn't mince words here. It explicitly states this weapon is capable of destroying the entire universe at the end of the Yuga. Arjuna is literally asking for the apocalypse wrapped up in a weapon. But consider why he wants it, because it's a fascinating contrast. You have this universal, world-ending weapon, and then you have Arjuna's highly specific grudge list. On the one hand, yes, he wants to take out supernatural foes, Danavas, Rakshasas, evil spirits, Pisachas, Gandharvas, and Nagas. But then he explicitly asks for this weapon to fight his mortal foes, Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, and Karna. He even makes a point of mentioning he wants to defeat Karna, of ever-abusive tongue. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. He's asking the destroyer of the eyes of Bhaga for a tool to end the universe, partly just to silence a human rival who insults him. And the visual of this weapon going off is just terrifying. When the Pasupata is hurled using mantras, it doesn't just make a big explosion. It multiplies. It produces darts by the thousands, these fierce-looking maces and arrows that look like snakes of virulent poison. It's a swarm of sheer divine wrath unleashed all at once. Moving on to section 3, the Pasupata weapon, absolute power. Mahadeva actually agrees to give it to him, but he makes it clear that the secrecy of the Pasupata is absolute. Think of the highest elemental powers, the chief of the gods, Yama, the Yakshas, Varuna, Vayu, and obviously men. None of them know it. The sole wielder is Mahadeva, also known as Bhava, himself. But it comes with a strict condition. Listen to this warning from Bhava. This weapon should not be hurled without adequate cause, for if hurled at any foe of little might, it may destroy the whole universe. This right here is the ancient concept of proportionality in warfare, perfectly summarized. You cannot use absolute power on a minor threat. The protocol is strict because the blowback isn't just collateral damage, it's the literal end of all existence. Because make no mistake, there is zero defense against the Pasupata. The text tells us that in the 3 worlds, there is no mobile or immobile creature incapable of being slain by it. It is absolute, indiscriminate destruction for all life, period. And the deployment methods are completely surreal. You don't just string this on a bow and pull it back. I mean, you can, but it can also be hurled by the mind, or just by the eye, or by words. It's an act of sheer cosmic will. Just a look or a thought from the wielder is enough to unleash devastation. So let's look at section 4, the cosmic aftermath. A universe trembles. So the transfer happens. Arjuna purifies himself and approaches the Lord of the universe. Mahadeva imparts the deep mysteries of how to hurl and, crucially, how to withdraw the weapon. But the craziest part? The weapon doesn't just sit in his quiver. It physically manifests in an embodied form right by Arjuna's side. The text says it looks like Yama, the god of death himself. The weapon is literally alive. And the physical world absolutely freaks out at this shift in cosmic power. The whole earth, the mountains, the seas, and the mines trembled. Out of nowhere, thousands of conchs, drums, and trumpets sounded, while hurricanes and whirlwinds just started blowing. It's incredibly cinematic. The universe itself is shuddering because a mortal just took possession of its destruction. But look at the profound transformation in Arjuna himself. Before this moment, he was a mortal seeking earthly revenge, holding on to grudges against the specific people who had wronged him. But afterwards, the text says, whatever evil there had been in his body of immeasurable energy was entirely dispelled by the touch of the three-eyed deity. He is physically and spiritually changed by Mahadeva, and only then is he commanded to go thou into heaven. And that brings our narrative arc to a close with this really haunting, beautiful image. The god of gods, Bhava, the deity of blazing splendor whose passions are under complete control, and his wife Uma, leave the snowy mountain plateaus and caves. They ascend into the skies, right in the sight of Arjuna. The divine couple just departs, leaving Arjuna standing there all alone. He is now the ultimate arbiter of life and death, holding a power that can end the world. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. If you were handed the power to destroy the entire universe, could you resist the urge to use it against your greatest enemies? The Pasupata isn't just some cool mythic weapon. It's a mirror reflecting our own humanity. It asks us hard questions about restraint, proportionality, and what we'd actually do if we were granted absolute power. Think about that for a bit. Thank you so much for joining me for today's explainer, and I'll catch you next time.